give people
Montel Williams is back with us with a plan to get vets care and fast. Meanwhile, time for another surge. Not in Iraq, where it is probably too late, but for our veterans, where Montel Williams says it is long overdue. Montel is taking his case to Washington, even if that means getting on a lot of cases in Washington. Of course, he never has a problem doing that. Montel, good to see you again, my friend.
Thank you so much. You know, I just watched that whole segment that you just talked about. I've been listening all afternoon. How quickly is everybody in Washington, D.C. getting ready to send American children off to die again? Remember, the president can make all the statements he wants. There'll be no troops on the ground. Not true. 500 Marines are going on the ground right now to help get U.S. soldiers and U.S. people out of Iraq.
So you think it's still very, very volatile?
Oh, not only is it volatile, but as we put planes in the air, one of them gets shot down. Let me ask you a question, Neil. The soldier flying that plane, he thinks that America is going to take care of him when he's injured. And we're not. We've been showing this day in and day out. Every day, another 50,000, 100,000 people are left off of list, and we are so happy to send more boys in to die and then not keep our promise when they come home.
Now, what is your fear? I mean, we can get back and forth on what's going to happen with the insurgents, what they're doing. I want to talk about what you said. It's affected soldiers' moods. You talked to a lot of soldiers and how confident they feel the country is behind them.
22 a day since the first day I came here took their lives, Neil. 22 a day. The last 15 days, 22 soldiers a day. We want to go protect someone else's democracy on the backs of American soldiers and children and deny them treatment when they come home.
What do you think?
What democracy
what do you think
is
what
this?
the Senate and the House have done on
the Senate just passed a very quick bill. Congress is dragging their feet. The fix-up in the Senate bill isn't enough. We know that for a fact.
Well, the House has passed something. The Senate's passed something. If it gets there by the end of the week, with this talk that it could be signed at the end of the week, are you satisfied with what you've heard out of this?
No.
What don't you like about it?
It's 90 days before they implement anything. That's why I'm calling for hashtag VA surge. Montel_Williams, hashtag VA surge. Watch this. Does it take them a minute today to write the check for the planes that got to fly over Iraq and drop the bombs tomorrow? Everybody can write that check. We're surging to put troops on the ground in Afghanistan. Tomorrow, more to die.
Well,
surge now to help
the surge in care now, your plan versus what you don't like out of the government. What's the difference?
90 days right now, we can't even, first of all, we haven't even picked the new VA head. I'll tell you, they can pick tomorrow. Guys, start along with the VA surge. Please, please, please ask them to just select Ken Fisher, head of the Fisher House Foundation. He's built a building at every single VA hospital around the country, knows more about the VA than
But what if he can't fire people?
Oh, and then we got to give them the ability to fire.
What if he can't have vouchers? What if he can't do stuff?
Guess what we got to do? How you get fired? You add on Admiral Ed Straw. Admiral Ed Straw turned the entire DLA over in less than about 60 days. Let him get in there and fire all these people who aren't listening. Right now, there are people.
But they're not. A lot of people are passing this up, Montel, because of limitations. They can't do all these things. So they don't want to walk into this saying, why should I do this job if hands are tied? Because
what we ought to do is make sure that the president does what he's going to do tomorrow. And that is he's going to say we need to surge in Afghanistan to protect someone else's democracy. He could say the same thing here and say we're going to change some of the rules and make sure we protect this democracy.
So a surge in Iraq is one thing, but a surge in care for our veterans is another.
We have to. We have to, because guess what?
But we're not doing it. We're not doing it.
90 days are going to go by. Every day, 22 more soldiers take their lives. And some of them, let's make sure we understand this, they're not committing suicide because there's something wrong. Some of them have medication issues where they take too much because they have PTSD and they don't remember what they're doing. We're not even protecting these guys from themselves. Yet, again, watch tonight and tomorrow how quickly they line up in Washington, D.C. to send more boys off to die.
Well, both sides say we're not. Okay, but both sides say they're not going to do that in Iraq.
500 soldiers on a boat right now, Marines, waiting to extract people. What's that mean?
So
are they going to do that hovering?
Well, we said we should have backup for people who are going to be extracted.
We're doing it. They're waiting.
I know. I'm saying you would not be for that?
We have to, but watch this. I want to make sure that the Marine that steps on that beach knows when he gets shot, somebody's going to take care of him. He doesn't even know the promise is real because all we've done is lie to him.
Well, you talk to a lot of these vets, too. Do they feel like the promise is broken, they're not appreciated?
They feel not appreciated, they feel lied to, and they feel right now that all of this is
Who are they angry at? The doctors who shuffle them off? off politicians.
Congress. They're angry at the president. They're angry at their leaders. They're angry at people who keep pushing them up. You know, last week, a soldier pulled into a VA hospital out west, took his own life in the parking lot because he was so frustrated with the fact that nobody would listen. Listen, we have issues going on around the world. The same people that we want to send to solve them are the guys that we're denying care for after they put their lives on the line for somebody else's democracy.
That's a very good point.
How dare we?
Do you get, though, Montel, a sense that we're not going to move aggressively on this and that we pour good money after bad? They've got a $180 billion budget at the VA, and they just piss it away.
What I say the first question you asked me about this? Leadership. That's the problem. We need to allow the surge. You know, when we do a surge, we put in whatever, bunker buster bombs we need, whatever strategy we need.
Would you shut the VA down?
I would. You know what I'll do? I'll make some people mad. A lot of people losing their job in the next 60 days. Done. If I took over the VA tomorrow, I would walk in because I'll tell you something. I know some of these people who have received emails from people in the last 20 days who won't even pass them on to the people ahead of them. And they're hearing from good people around the country, admirals, generals who are writing and telling them what to do, and they're just sending back notices. We'll put that with the group of other recommendations. Are you kidding me? You're getting some of the best information from guys on the ground who served, and you won't even listen.
But is the VA too big, Montel?
It's too big, and we've created a structure where, again, if you can't fire somebody, we got a problem. And we got a bigger problem when a group of people can vote themselves a bonus just for keeping track of numbers that they lie about. We need to shut this organization down. That's part of my surge, my friend. I'm telling you.
But the surge would be what fills its void? What happens?
Immediately. Are you ready for this? I said it the first time. It's real simple. The President of the United States, with not even an executive order, can just say to every one of the Surgeon Generals, open up the active duty medical facilities, DOD facilities across the board, and then also use the National Health Corps facilities right now to fill in the void to end the backlog.
But what if they're full already?
They're not.
They're not.
And if they are filled, then what he can do is he can use temporary active duty the same way they did for me for 3 years. I went on and off active duty. I could be brought on active duty for 60 days without Congress having to approve it. For 60 days, you could bring on right now probably, I think it's 14,000 medics, corpsmen, and hospital men from all 4 branches of the service have gotten out in the last 3 years. You could bring some of them back on right now, augment every single DOD facility with 60 or 70, whatever they need to just end the backlog. Because once we end the backlog...
How would you avoid the repetition, though?
What do you mean?
You know, the repetition of care, like here's this hospital's doing this hospital's doing that.
Very simple.
They're all flooding the system.
Very simple. Right here, in this facility alone, right here in New York City, we probably have 14 different medical clinics and facilities that are DOD or National Health or Corps organizations. We could, right now, allow soldiers to come there. As soon as you walk in, you get a card. Neil Cavuto, you walked in. I don't care if you're in the Vietnam War, it doesn't matter. I've got you, I've got your service record. I'm going to right now triage you. If you've got an issue that we've got really serious medical problems with, I got to get you into the system. But if I have things like, you know, I've got to stabilize your medication, I have to maybe help you with a diabetic wound, I may have to help you with, so I can do those.
But a lot of these guys say they're over-medicated, or someone throws pills at them and says, all right, call me in a month.
But remember what I told you. I want to help this issue also, because there's technology out there right now available to allow a soldier who can't actually keep track of his own medication to allow the medication to take track of itself. We can slow this down. We don't have to just medicate them. What I'm trying to tell you is that we have guys that are dying because they may have taken 4 of the wrong medications at the same time.
Oh, I understand where you're coming from, Montel. Here's the thing. Both bills,
Yes,
with the House and the Senate, provide $50 billion more in funding. But no one knows exactly how that $50 billion will be spent on top of the $180 billion that already is.
That's why in a surge, in having emergency situation, you also give me the higher fire ability and the ability to augment for an immediate issue. Remember, I'm going to keep saying this until I drop. We don't know what the bill's going to be. Right now, if we've got 300,000 soldiers that have not seen a doctor for the last 2.5 years, if they went out because they had a scratch
What do they
in the
tell you
arm,
why they haven't seen a doctor?
because they can't get in to get an appointment. Some of them live too far away. Some of them, when they go in, they get pushed off to the next one. Oh, you
But
really
we
don't
talked to
have
a
that.
few came in here, Montel, said even when they get in, they just say, well, you know, just more or less take a number.
Yeah, and you can be sitting in the hospital today, tomorrow, your life comes to a hold. So the whole system, Neil's got to change. And there are, watch, I'm not trying to tell everybody in America that Montel's got every answer, but guess what? I can give you 15 good Americans who can answer. Admiral Ed Straw right now. Call upon him. We've called upon him to fix other problems in the U.S. military with the DLA. Again, Ken Fisher. He can get this done today. And, you know, I keep throwing these guys under the bus because until somebody starts to listen. I haven't heard anybody else's names, have you?
Well, we have heard a bunch of names, but
yeah,
they don't come to fruition, do they? Yeah. Montel, always good. Keep
always
at
good
it,
to
my
see
friend.
Please, hashtag Montel_Williams, hashtag VA Surge
Very
today.
Good. We'll have more right after this.
Thank you.